So today I'm looking into this barley harvest, and there's actually a lot of different confirmations from all sorts of walks of life that are further kind of strengthening the case for April Fool's Day or near that time rapture. But let me just actually before going into barley harvest, let me really quickly show you one which is related to this a video game called World of Warcraft. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, but it's very, very popular. It's been there since 2004, and in some sense, some of the predictive programming or whatever huge franchises, they want to put these Easter eggs in, because that's the kind of corrupted prophecy. So they kind of show what they're about to do, and then they do it through strength and twisting of the arm and all these corrupted ways of the adversary. But let me show you one thing in here. This is the Wikipedia page. An expansion on this game just came out, and it is, I don't know, there's like 10 or something expansions in here, but just look at this. The last expansion was released March 2nd. It's very new, and the name of the expansion is Midnight. Now, if you've seen my videos and the Formalhaut conjunction marking the darkest day of the year in the beginning, of course it was also the blood moon. This is the midnight hour, and now we have even a confirmation from the kind of predictive programming and adversary side. World of Warcraft has been consuming the time of young men, especially since 2004. I mean, millions of players, and even still it's around 10 million players or 9 million, something like that this year. So it's one of the most popular games, and there you go. But let's go back to this barley harvest confirmation. So there's actually 3 harvests for the Hebrew tradition: barley, wheat, and grapes. Of course, we could talk about other fruits as well, but these 3 are the main ones, as I can see the idioms in the book of Revelation. But not going too deep on that, just taking that for granted, there is this process of counting the omer connected to the harvests. It's called Sefirat HaOmer in Hebrew, and it's a Jewish ritual that involves verbally tallying each of the 49 days between Passover and Pentecost. So the 8th day of the 3rd month. It is a way of observing all the 3, or actually 4 feasts. I mean, there's Passover, unleavened bread, first fruits, and then it ends with Shavuot as the 4th one. And the counting of the Omer begins on the 2nd day of Passover, so that would be in the beginning of April if we look at the Gregorian calendar, and serves as a bridge between the celebration of physical freedom from slavery and the spiritual milestone of receiving the Torah at Mount Sinai. So this is to where the Hebrews connect the Passover. Of course, we connect Passover with Jesus' crucifixion and resurrection. We go back to the agriculture. Omer is an ancient unit of measurement of grain, roughly 2 or 3.5 liters, depending on the source, but that's roughly the size. In biblical times, it involved offering a sheaf, a bundle, perhaps an omer, of freshly harvested barley. So there was already a harvest of first fruits, first barley. in the temple on the second day of Passover. So this harvest happened already before this, and then it was offered on the second day of Passover, marking the start of the spring harvest season. And then the counting began, counting the omer, and then that led to wheat harvest at Shavuot, symbolizing the transition from barley, a coarser, not that much processed or handled grain, to wheat, which is a finer grain. So we could read this two ways. Either the harvest, the rapture, happens before the second day of Passover. So if the Passover is the 1st of April or 2nd, there you go. It might actually be perfectly aligning with the full moon, and there is a lot of significant evidence to support that. I might make another video on that as we close to that date. But then there is also an Exodus connect with this omer. When the Israelites left Egypt, according to the tradition, Moses informed them that in 50 days they would receive the Torah. And then the people began counting the days eagerly, turning the kind of physical work into a spiritual countdown, a spiritual journey to see the revelation. See the connect with the rapture, watching beginning of the Exodus in September. And then there's also a link to the manna in the desert. Each person received exactly 1 omer per day, regardless of how much they gathered. And this miracle emphasized the dependence on God and equality. So, whether a person is harvested in the barley or in the wheat, barley in the first fruits or even before Passover, or latest at the second day. So then the third, it would be offered on the second day, if it's gathered maybe in the morning, and then Shavuot is for the wheat, so that would be for the rest of the church, perhaps. But everybody is equal. God will have the correct place for everybody, so we shouldn't be too worried. It's all dependent on God and His perfect plan. And then about the first fruits, another aspect as this conclusion to this video is that perhaps rapture is not the first fruits of a resurrection, because Jesus fulfilled that already. So the dead in Christ might not actually be resurrected on this first rapture, but perhaps this will be a first fruits of rapture. It's distinct from the resurrection, because it's mentioned that the dead in Christ will rise first, and then those who remain are taken together with them up to the clouds. So it is connected, but it's a separate thing, the rapture from resurrection. So perhaps this rapture will be the first fruits of rapture, because Jesus ascended to the heaven, He was not raptured. Jesus was resurrected, He was the first fruits of resurrection. And now Jesus is the gatherer in the rapture. Perhaps the first fruits of rapture. And then that would fit with the barley harvest. And then wheat, which needs a bit more processing, they will come, but just a bit later, and the road will be a bit rougher, but they will be very fine at the end. And then grapes is the last one. Then when all the remaining Israelites will say, "Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord," they call for Jesus, they will be saved in the end.